I just wanted to welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Leo Hilton, and I'm the author of The Fatherless Son. I've been through many years of healing to just recover from not having a relationship with my dad growing up. Even though my dad was in the home, so some of you might have dads that are in the home but just not engaged, or he could be negative with you, fighting with you. So my new book, Healing the Fatherless Son, is out on Amazon. I will include the link for the book for those of you who want to pick it up and buy it. It was a huge project. It took me like 5 years. There was a lot of healing that I went through in writing this book and talking about my childhood, talking about a lot of experiences from my childhood that actually impacted me into my adult life, which caused me to go through a divorce, caused me to go through bankruptcy, caused me to go through a bunch of stuff. In my book, I cover about all these different things that I went through, and I said I would never be like my dad. I would never grow up to be like my dad, but you know what happened? I ended up being like my dad, and sorry for me getting emotional, but for a lot of men out there, they're struggling in their relationship with their wives. They're struggling with their relationship with their kids because of the trauma, because of the things they went through as a kid. And everybody's level is different from the trauma. We got men incarcerated in prison. 70-80% of men that are in prison because they had no physical presence of a dad in the house. And they could have an abusive dad in the house that just was abusive, or they could have a dad that just never was there. Physically, he was never there. And I've coached for over 20 years high school lacrosse. I've run into many players that just struggled with relationships with their dad, not having the support from their dad. I was a great athlete in high school. I was a great basketball player, great lacrosse player. I was part of one of the best lacrosse organizations in the country in high school. Our high school was #1 in the nation. I could have got a scholarship anywhere playing lacrosse, but the struggles I went through and the problems I had growing up really just derailed my life in a lot of ways. Now, in this book, I cover a lot of things. Not only do I cover about just not having a dad around and just the negative things that he brought with me, in my childhood and everything, but I cover just a lot of solutions that you can go through. I went through hypnotherapy. I went through a lot of emotional coding and different things like that to bring healing in my body and in my mind and everything. And really, in my growing up, I said, I'll never be like my dad. I'm going to be a great dad to my kids, and which I was a great dad. And I have a great relationship with my kids. I have a great relationship with my grandkids now. But the problem is I ended up destroying my marriage because of a lot of different things. I'm remarried now. A lot of things. I went through full bankruptcy, divorce, everything. I lost, both my parents in a 3 years time. And I was at the end of my rope. But through hypnotherapy and emotional coding, I found healing. And so this channel is really about bringing healing to men that are struggling. They have children and they just can't connect with their children, or even for fathers that are out there that just don't care to have a relationship with their sons. They're missing out. My dad missed out on a relationship with me, and he died. He was dead and gone. And I never did repair that relationship. And so the biggest thing for me is I want to help men to recover. I'm sorry to get emotional about it, but it has been a long journey to find healing. And even when you find healing, you think you're healed, and you still have so much more to heal. And there's so much trauma that's buried that you go on. And there's so many men that turn to their businesses, success, to try to make it feel better, or try to prove to their dad that there's something. And it just doesn't bring healing. And so in this channel and in my book, I really want to bring healing to men and help men to recover, and help men to, they could be struggling in a relationship with their wives because they treat their wives just like their dads treated his wife and their mom, and so I want to help men to really recover. And that's the whole point of this chapter. This is my first video releasing, and I want to release more videos to help men and to just talk about subjects and different things that can help them. With parenting, it's a huge deal. When you first become a parent, I was 20 something years old when I became a parent. I didn't understand really what it was to give direction and guidance. I didn't even have direction and guidance for myself in my 20s. I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going. And so I really want to use this channel to really help men to find their true purpose in life. I've got a tattoo of the North Star on my arm, and it's really about finding healing through the bitterness and the anger and the hatred that I had towards my dad. And learning to love him even after he was dead and gone. I learned to love my dad and forgive him, and to have healing in my life that helped me from not self-sabotaging everything I put my hands to and destroying everything I put my hands to. Even after I created, I destroyed it. Self-sabotage is a huge thing, and there's so many things that I'm going to talk about on this channel to help people. And if you need to reach out to me, and we'll be including the link for my book on Amazon. All you have to do is go to Amazon, type in Leo Hilton, and you can find my book. And it's not only talking about, the fatherless son, but it's talking about how to navigate. How many people go through a divorce and they put their kids in the middle? They put their kids, and they don't care about their kids really per se. They just want to pit their kids against their mom or their kids against their dad. And so, this is the biggest thing. I want to find healing for the fatherless son, for the fathers out there that are struggling. So I thank you for checking into my channel. Hopefully you can subscribe and share my channel with other people. Thank you.